Next unit, unit 10, or cluster 10, as they're calling it, is on inequalities. Should be fairly similar to equations, just with a few differences to it. So on page 134 in your workbooks, you have this little table here. Hopefully, those symbols look familiar. Anybody remember which one's which? Anybody remember what that first one is? The first one is less than. Words such as fewer than would also work there and all that, but that one is less than. Think of it this way. As you read, when you read something, you read from left to right. Yeah? So the same idea with the symbol. The pointy part is the smaller number, right? We want the alligator, chomping the big number, right? So the smaller one's coming first, so that makes it less than. With the second one here, it's open to the left, so as we go to the left, that's greater than. What does it mean when we add that little line underneath it? Anybody know that one? Yes. So this one is less than or equal to. Likewise, the next one is greater than or equal to. We are going to have to be able to graph these. Okay? We're going to get a variable and a number with an inequality sign in between them. So for all these, I'm just going to use 3. So if I am graphing that solution each time. For this first one, for less than, what we want is on our number line at 3, we want an open circle. Okay? It needs to be an open circle, and then we're going to have an arrow pointing one direction. All right? The direction it points, in this case, is to the left. Here is the easiest way I can think of to tell you how to know which way it's pointing. There's your arrow, the inequality symbol. Okay? See how it's pointing to the left? That means our arrow on our graph needs to point to the left. For greater than, same idea. At 3, open circle. Which way is my arrow pointing? To the right. Same idea. Inequality symbol. The pointy part's to the right. Arrow goes to the right. We'll get to this more when we get to the graphing or work with the graphing some more. But for that to be true, we need the variable to be on the left side. Okay? All right, so we still start at 3 for less than or equal to. The difference when it has the line underneath, filled in circle. Okay? So no line underneath, open circle, line underneath, filled in circle. Which direction is my arrow pointing? To the left. Still goes by where our pointy part is. And then this last one, same idea. There's a line underneath the inequality symbol. That means a filled in circle. Pointy part of our inequality symbol's to the right. To the right. Any questions on that graphing so far? We'll do the graphing a little bit more next week, but just the basics on it there. So what our solutions are, in this case, it is all numbers lower than 3. I ran out of space, so I didn't put the than, but all numbers lower than 3. Is 3 a solution? No. 3 is not lower than 3. Okay? Everybody clear on that difference? It's just the numbers lower than 3. So when it's greater than, that's all numbers higher than 3. Same idea. That doesn't include 3. 3 is not higher than 3. Now when we get to these, that's where the difference is. So less than or equal to is all numbers lower than 3 and 3. So that's the difference what that line means. The line on the inequality symbol means it includes exactly that number. If there's no line, that number doesn't count as a solution. So the last one, all numbers higher than 3 and 3. Okay? Any questions on that? You can see this isn't going to be too bad, is it? All right? It's just figuring out where they fall in there. All right, so they're on page 135 then. You just kind of flip it. Inequalities can be solved by finding values of the variables that make the inequality true. If I have an inequality, and like we said before, we had x and 3. All right? If x equals 5, I would have 5 is greater than 3. Is that true? Yeah, so 5 would be a solution. If I said x is equal to 2, I would have 2 is greater than 3 if I did some substitution, right? Is that true? No, so 2 does not work as a solution, 5 does. Is 5 the only solution? Definitely not. That makes sense though? And then since the inequality uses greater than or less than symbols, all of these have more than one solution. Technically, they're going to have basically an infinite amount of solutions. So if it's greater than 3, 3.000000001 is greater than 3, isn't it? Right? We see how that's going to work? Like you have infinite possibilities, basically. It just has to be higher than or lower than that number. All right, so this kind of just shows, like I was just explaining to you, this is substitution. This is what we just worked on with equations. The only difference is we're not trying to get a number by substituting. We're trying to check something by substituting. So in this case, with each of these, we have that inequality there. X plus 3 less than or equal to 7. They substitute 3. They get 6 less than or equal to 7. So does 3 work as a solution? Yes, because 6 is less than or equal to 7. When they substitute 4, they got 7. 7 is less than or equal to 7, right? So that one works. Last one here, they substitute 5. When they do the 5 plus 3, they got 8. 8 is not less than or equal to 7. That means 5 does not work as a solution. All right? Pretty easy, right? You substitute it in, see if the alligator is eating the correct number. on page 135. Go ahead and try those. I'll show you on the first one, like on the top left there, when it gives you a set of numbers, all you're doing is putting them in and seeing which one works. So if I do 6 plus 2, less than 9, that's 8 is less than 9. That means 6 works. If I did 7, that's 7 plus 2 is less than 9. That gives you 9 less than 9. 7 doesn't work. Same idea with 8. That would give me 10. See how this works? For those there, just one of the numbers works. Sometimes they'll give you problems where it's more than one is correct. And those bottom 3 are just basically yes or no questions. All right, who's got the top middle? Aiden? 10 is correct. We put in 10. 10 minus 3, greater than 6. That gives us 7, greater than 6. That is true. 10 works. Top right. 4, 5, or 6. Levi. 6 works. When you put 6 in, 6 plus 4 greater than or equal to 10. That gives you 10 greater than or equal to 10 because it's got the little line underneath it. It can be equal. They can be the same, so that's good. Bottom left. Dulce? Yeah, that one works. We put 6 in, so we got 12 less than or equal to 18 minus 6. That gives us 12 less than or equal to 12. That is true. Bottom middle, Riley? No is correct. When we put 8 in, that's 11 plus 8, less than or equal to 17. That would be 19. Less than or equal to 17, that is not true, so that one doesn't work. Oh, should have wrote that. That's yes, that's no. And bottom right. Sophia? No. When we put the 4 in, 4 plus 3 greater than 9. That would be 7 greater than 9. Not true, doesn't work. Okay? Any questions? Not so bad, right?